Hi everybody, welcome to Alterations in the Gastrointestinal System. Fun stuff. Today we're going to start with a A&P review. Again, if you don't need this part, feel free to skip this video because this is going to be strictly anatomy and physiology. Okay? So there we go, we have our lovely picture of general GI anatomy. In the notes section of this part of the PowerPoint, you will find 2 links for YouTube videos, which go into a fair amount of depth. You don't really need that for this part, but again, if we're getting farther down into the lecture and you're coming up against stuff that's really fuzzy for you as far as A&P review, feel free to go back and do a brief review by watching these videos. They're really good videos. So basically, the GI system starts with your mouth, right? In our mouth, we have teeth, tongue, and saliva, which help us break down food. Then we have the esophagus, which connects the mouth to the stomach. In the stomach, we store and mix food with digestive enzymes, and then that empties into the small intestine. The small intestine consists of the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. Next is the large intestine, which is comprised of the cecum, the colon, and the rectum. Other vocab words is peristaltic contractions. These are what propels food and general GI contents along, and the speed of the movement in the colon affects the stool. So if it's too fast, you will have diarrhea, potentially constipation if it's too slow. So going into some more detail as far as the stomach lies in the upper left quadrant of the abdominal cavity. It's made up of sphincters, the body, and the fundus. The sphincters basically keep contents where they should be. They are what control what goes where and when it goes there. There is the gastroesophageal sphincter, otherwise known as the cardiac sphincter. This controls the opening from the esophagus into the stomach, and it prevents reflux from the stomach from going up into the esophagus. So the pyloric sphincter controls the release of food substances into the small intestine. Primary function of the stomach, again, is going to be chemical digestion. Mucus, hydrochloric acid, intrinsic factor, pepsinogen, and gastrin are all secreted here from cells within the walls, and it mixes with the food to break down particles even further to aid in absorption. This mixture of partially digested semi-liquid food is called chyme. Hydrochloric acid's pH is less than 1. It is there to pretty much kill microorganisms. A lack of intrinsic factor can lead to pernicious anemia, generally requiring some B12 injections. I think Krista has already gone over that with you. And then mucus cells are also in the stomach, and they are secreting alkaline mucus, which helps prevent hydrochloric acid from digesting the stomach itself, because that would be a bad thing. From the stomach, again, we go into the small intestine. It is divided into the duodenum, some people call it the duodenum, pick your poison, the jejunum, and the ileum. It's about 6 meters long. Primary function here is going to be further chemical digestion and the absorption of nutrients. The duodenum receives the chyme from the stomach, adds more digestive enzymes and fluids, also receives bile and pancreatic enzymes from the common duct, all in order to further digest chyme into a more liquid state. Digested food particles are absorbed into the bloodstream from the villi on the walls of the jejunum and the ileum. Substances are moved along the intestinal tract, again by peristaltic action. I don't know why I have a hard time with that word. Let's just say peristalsis. That sounds better. The ileocecal valve controls the progress of substances into the large intestine. So the large intestine reabsorbs water and electrolytes, formulates some vitamin K, and also eliminates waste products. Diarrhea can result in an electrolyte imbalance for this reason. The large intestine is populated with bacteria which aid in the breakdown of waste products. So some people have heard of, we call them the good flora in our gut. Large intestine is divided into the cecum, the colon, the rectum, and the anal canal. The appendix is attached to the cecum and has no known function in the digestive process. The colon is about 1.5 meters long and has 4 portions. They are the ascending, the transverse, the descending, and the sigmoid colon. The rectum stores fecal matter until it's eliminated through the anus. And the internal anal sphincter at the top of the anal canal is under involuntary control. The external anal sphincter at the end of the anal canal is under voluntary control. So that's the part that we can control as human beings. We cannot control when stool enters the rectum. We generally can control when it exits. And the gastrocolic reflex is what initiates elimination. It's stimulated by the ingestion of food. By tightening the voluntary anal sphincter, the reflex of emptying the rectum can be stopped. And peristalsis, again, are the contractions that mix and move contents all the way through the GI tract. Here we have a nice picture of our GI accessory organs. The accessory organs of the GI system are going to be your liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. We'll go into some detail on those. So for the liver, again, in the notes section of this part, there is another YouTube video that goes into some detail about liver. Use it if you need it. For us, we need to know that liver is located in the upper right quadrant of the abdominal cavity. It is beneath the diaphragm and on top of the stomach. Also on top of the right kidney and the intestines. Pretty much shaped like a cone, as you can see on your screen there. It's highlighted in reddish color. It weighs about 3 pounds, give or take. Has many functions within the GI tract, not limited to, but also including the manufacture and secretion of bile and bile salts, which are necessary to digest fat and fat-soluble vitamins. It's responsible for protein metabolism. It converts certain amino acids as needed for protein synthesis. Key roles in lipid metabolism, so it breaks down fatty acids and synthesizes cholesterol and phospholipids. Also has a role in converting excess carbohydrates and proteins into fat. Major role is going to be in glucose metabolism, removing excess glucose from the blood, converting it into glycogen, and then as glucose is needed, converting glycogen back into glucose. So our liver is really important. Some non-GI functions include storage. It can store between 200 and 400 milliliters of blood in general. In addition to storing the glucose in the form of glycogen, it can also store vitamins A, D, E, K, and B12, as well as iron. Another big important part of the liver functions is going to be the production of clotting factors. So the liver synthesizes prothrombin, which is needed for normal blood clotting. And finally, it's responsible for filtering and detoxifying harmful substances. So it receives blood directly from the digestive tract via the hepatic portal vein. And all nutrients and oral medications pass through the liver before being distributed to other parts of the body. So it's acting as a large filter, and it removes bacteria, damaged red blood cells, other toxic materials from the blood. Also helps break down and excrete hormones, drugs, cholesterol, and hemoglobin from worn out red blood cells. Finally, it detoxifies and breaks down many compounds and drugs, preparing them for excretion. It alters ammonia, which is the byproduct of protein metabolism, so that it does not harm the body. We're going to talk all about ammonia later on. The gallbladder and the pancreas. So the gallbladder is a small sac which is attached to the lower portion of the liver, and it connects the common bile duct that leads from the liver to the duodenum, or the duodenum, again, whichever one you like to say. The gallbladder stores bile, which is produced in the liver, and delivers it as needed to the small intestine. The gallbladder can store up to 50 milliliters of bile. The pancreas is an elongated, flat organ that sits behind the stomach and consists of a head and a tail. The pancreatic duct extends the length of the pancreas and connects the common bile duct, conducting its secretions into the duodenum. The islets of Langerhans, which I'm sure Krista has gone over, these are the regions of endocrine tissue in the pancreas, which secrete hormones insulin and glucagon into the blood. Again, insulin is essential for the metabolism of carbohydrates and the maintenance of electrolyte balance. The major pancreatic enzymes are going to be amylase, protease, and trypsin. I probably butchered that, I'm sorry. as well as lipase. These enzymes are essential to the digestion and absorption of nutrients from the small intestine. The secretion of pancreatic enzymes is going to be controlled by secretin and cholecytokinin, two substances which are secreted by the intestinal mucosa. And look at that. That was like the quickest video you guys are ever going to see from me. So again, if you need more review than that, please feel free to go back through these parts and take a look at the videos that are in there. They're really good videos. They are also included in my 105 lecture on the GI system. So for those of you who remember those, you know what they're about. If you need them, go back and watch them. If not, hopefully you didn't watch this whole video. But I will see you for the next video.